Yes, sir, baby, on the radar. Yo, joining me today from Canada, calling in producer Pitt Tha Kid. What up?
Sir, how you feeling, man?
I
I'm
think we
good.
got one, bro. I think we got one.
We got one. We got one. You know the tag, man.
Of course,
Appreciate
of
you.
course. Yo, first of all, man, I know you're in Toronto right now. You got to explain to me what's going on with y'all's lockdown in Toronto. Because every time I link with someone from Canada,
Mm.
they be telling me about how crazy it is up there and how, like, down here in America, it's like we wide open. Like, we just kind of, like, we can walk outside. We can do all this shit.
Oh no, it's crazy, man. I can't leave the crib. I can't go nowhere. I can't. It's wild, you know. And I'll be on my stories. I see everyone living life. I'm like, damn, man, this is crazy. You know, I got to get out of here. So, but you know, we're just making the best of it. You know what I mean? Making the
I mean,
best.
y'all got the vaccine up there. I'm sure some of y'all have already gotten the vaccine and whatnot.
Yeah. It's just slow up here, man. The rollout's been slow, you know. So you got to send some vaccines our way, man. You can.
That's kind of crazy, man. But you know what? We do appreciate all the work that you've been putting in down here
Mm.
during the pandemic. Obviously, you got a bunch of like from the Latin records, which I of course appreciate because I got my little Puerto Rican flag back there, and I'm a big Ozuna and Anuel fan. We're gonna get to that. But you've been putting work over the pandemic. You know, first and foremost during this time, working from home, creating beats from home. You know, obviously you got the pop plaque in the background from the pandemic as well. How has this time kind of being home affected you as a producer?
Yeah, I mean, I think it forces you to work harder. You know, it forces you to network more because you know I'm so used to being in the studio, and it's like LA, and I can't do any of that, right? So it's a lot of like Zoom calls, it's a lot of this sort of thing, and but I've been making it work, man. You got to go twice as hard, for
Right.
sure.
1,000%. So, you know, connecting with all these people during the pandemic, obviously you'd be in America, I'm assuming, if this wasn't happening right now, right? You'd be back and forth and whatnot.
Absolutely, yeah, of course.
So how have you how have you adjusted? You know what I'm saying? Like how does a producer who isn't in America kind of work so heavily with American artists but not be in the same room as them? Is it a lot of Zoom? Like what is kind of the experience like for you?
I mean, it's a lot of reaching out. It's a lot of DMs. It's a lot of like using your network, and it's a lot of emails. You know, it's kind of like you kind of have to find a way to adjust because it's not always the same when you're doing virtual, obviously, than when you're in person. But it's you got to find a way to do it. For
Right.
sure.
So like with your beginnings, obviously I know I believe how tell me how long you've been producing for.
I think it's like 5 years. 5 years.
5 years. And one of your first major placements was the Creed 2 soundtrack, correct?
Yeah. I had Lloyd Banks, but Lloyd Banks was my first real one.
But that's
You know.
still a big one. That's still a big
Yeah.
one too. We can't sleep on the Lloyd Banks placement. So for you, how did this whole journey of producing begin?
I mean, I started out rapping actually. I was a
Wow,
rapper in high
okay.
school. Yeah. I used to do like the little rap battles at the lunch table and
Okay.
stuff. I thought I was a sick rapper. And it just turned out that I didn't have any beats to go over. So I'm like, man, I got to get some beats. I started learning how to make my own beats.
Mhm.
And then I just started realizing that like my beats were better than my raps. So I kind of, just stuck with the producing. And, ever since then, it's been up from there.
Right. I feel like that's like a story for a lot of producers. Like, y'all start off as rappers and then y'all like, you know what, but I'm really good at making beats. And I think I'm better at making beats than I am at rapping. So maybe I should do this instead. And it seems to have worked out for you, of course.
For real, for real. Most producers won't admit it, but everyone's tried to rap. Sure.
Do you feel like a lot of the producers we even look up to today used to try? Well, I mean, of course, certain producers were rappers, but like, I feel like now that you mentioned it, I be thinking, I'm like, I wonder if this person was like a rapper and they just don't want to say shit.
Hey, man, probably a lot of them. For real, for real.
But okay, so I want to get into some of these records. So first of all, how did the Lloyd placement happen? How'd that go down for you? Because obviously, being your first real big placement, I definitely want to kind of see how that worked out.
Yeah, well, I was working with some rappers out of New York, and and a lot of the time it's like you won't go directly to the big artists. You got to connect with their team and their camp, right?
Mhm.
And I was working these rappers out there, and one of the managers was connected with Lloyd, and I'm just like, yo, man, like, can I send some beats to Lloyd? Like, I feel like I got some fire, right? And I was a nobody at this time, man. They're like, and so like he contacted Lloyd or whatever, their team, and they're like, oh, where is he from? This is like Canada. He's like, Canada, like, you know what I'm saying? But so it was all good. I sent the pack out, and I got a call like about a week later, and he's like, "Yo, like we got one," and I didn't hear anything. And then I remember the tape dropped on Halloween. It was called Halloween Havoc 3. And I must have played that back like 20 times, man. It was crazy, it was a nuts feeling. So salute to Lloyd and all them, and it's a blessing for sure.
Nah, and since then, of course, you paved your way with these records. One of which, I want to talk about the one behind you, especially because we in New York. Did you put these New York plaques up because you knew I was in New York? Is that a thing, or are these always the plaques that are there?
They just there. Honestly, they just there.
I wasn't sure. I had to ask. I had to ask because I was like, damn, wait, he got a lot of New York records behind him. Let me find out he put those there for this interview. But with the pop joint, obviously, Creatures featuring Sway Lee, dope record off of Shoot for the Stars, Aim for the Moon. How did you connect with Pop and his team? Was that a record that was done, pre his passing? Was that a record that was done after? Like, how did that kind of all come about?
Yeah, I mean, RIP Pop Smoke, just out of respect, I don't want to speak on it too much, but, shout out to my brother 808 Mello. I connected with him like about a year ago, and, he's one of the dopest producers. I actually, when I heard Welcome to the Party, I'm like, yo, who produced this? Like, I gotta connect with this guy who produced this. And that was when it first like kind of dropped, and we've been working since then. And everything kind of lined up as far as like his album. But yeah, it was done. I don't know when it was recorded, but I know that obviously the album came out after his passing. So RIP to Pop Smoke, and legend.
Yeah, long live Pop. And that's crazy because you're part of an album that's still breaking records to this day.
It's crazy, man. It's a blessing. It's a blessing.
Like, I forgot how many weeks ago, but I don't know if it's still #1 on the rap charts, but I remember a few weeks ago it like surpassed, I forgot exactly what album it was, but I know it broke some crazy record. I think it tied some record with Prince too. Like, that's kind of insane.
It's
to have
crazy,
your name in those credits.
Yeah. For real. The album's so big, man. It's amazing. So
it's cool to meet other people who produced on that album, because my homie Dizzy Banko was part of the production for Mood Swings. So like, it's really cool to kind of get to meet other people who produce on that project and who help kind of make this amazing body of work that I feel like as a New Yorker and as New Yorkers, we're going to appreciate forever. But it's kind of nice to meet someone who also had who was one of the cooks in the kitchen. You feel me?
Word. Yeah. I feel that.
And of course, being Puerto Rican, I got to ask, I loved the Anuel and Ozuna collab project. With that, first of all, the record that you produce on is fire. La Maria is so dope. How did you connect with my guys in Latin America? How did this kind of come about?
Yeah, man, it was, I connect a lot through producers, that's kind of been my way in the game a lot of the ways. So I connected with my boy 40, who he's plugged in with Foreign Tech, and we were cooking up a bunch of stuff. And, we'd made this one sample where like it was really bass heavy, right? And I'd actually made it for like, Cardi and like that type of lane. But they ended up using it, and he sent it out to Foreign Tech. And he ended up making a banger out of it. He was in the studio with Anuel and Ozuna, and salute to Foreign Tech, amazing producer. But everything lined up, and it was crazy.
How do you feel like as a producer? Do you feel like that you'll send out? How often is it that you send out records, and like what's the ratio of records that get put out to the records that don't get put out for you, or that you would say?
I'd say it's like it's 50-50, man. It's 50, probably close to 50-50. Yeah. Because I got a lot of songs on my phone and snippets that I'm like, man, when are they gonna drop this? But it is what it is.
Because I always find that so interesting to talk about with producers, because obviously some producers will say maybe it's like 20%. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But that's kind of interesting that you say 50%. Obviously, of course, you also have a Boogie back there, which also what a fantastic project. For you, who have been like your favorite people or favorite artists to work with? I know doing things now is a little different because we're on Zoom. But when we were kind of in person, or even if you got to be on Zoom or FaceTime with somebody, who were some of your favorite people or favorite memories in the studio?
I remember the first time I went to LA, I got in the studio with King Combs.
Okay.
And that was legendary, man. That was really dope. Salute to my boy Ryan. But I connected with his close buddy, he's an R&B singer who I was producing some records for. And he just told me like, yo, pull up to the studio one night. It's my first time in LA. And then I pull up to the studio, and yeah, you know, Sean's there, and like I'm just like, damn, this is crazy. You know, I'm playing them both records. He's fucking with a lot of them. So it was a crazy experience just being from Canada, you know, able to get in the studio with those guys.
Right, right. And you know, with your new single Run, you know, debut single Run, Lil Wayne, Taleban Dooda, who actually had Taleban Dooda on a few weeks ago. At the time of we're recording this, Taliban's project's about to come out, and he's free. The day that we're recording this, I actually just got the notification on my phone during this interview that Taleban Dooda went live on IG. So Taleban Dooda is free. Shout out my guy. Shout out the boy from Tampa. But with this record, you know, obviously Wayne and Taliban is such a dope kind of connection to have a young artist and Wayne on this joint. How did this record come about? Like, how did we get to this point and get them on the record together?
Yeah, I mean, hey man, just God, you know what I mean? I gotta say, you know, I had the Wayne verse first. You know, I had a connection and I was able to secure the verse. And then I sent it over to Taliban. I built this beat around it. And I'm like, yo, I feel like Taliban would be perfect on this beat. So I sent it to Taliban, and yeah, he bodied that shit, man. Salute to Dooda. But everything kind of came together, and a lot of people were fucking with it. So we're like, we got to push this.
That's incredible. And so, okay, so with this, obviously we got a project on the way. We got more singles on the way. As we inch towards your debut project, you know, what are you trying to achieve with this project? You know, what else can we expect single wise coming up and that is, you know, in the works right now?
Man, just hits, man. Like, expect the unexpected. You know, I think because of the rap first single, a lot of people were expecting me to keep putting out rap singles.
Right.
But I'm about to flip it on the next one for real. So expect pop. You know, some of my favorite producers are Calvin Harris, Diplo, you know what I mean, K Tronada. Like, just expect some different vibes for real.
Yeah, you know, I love that. So with this project, you're gonna have like a little hip hop, a little R&B, a little this, a little that on it, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And you know, I saw you even posted that you were in the studio with Mooski not too long ago. I think it was like a week or two ago. With that record, whatever y'all worked on with that, was that something for his project, your project? Like, what's kind of going on with that connection right there?
Yeah, salute to my bro Diego. I believe that's for his project.
Okay.
And you know, he's got a feature on it. I don't know how much I can say or not, but yeah, looking forward to that one for sure.
So, like, out of all these projects, out of all the plaques that you have, which one are you most proud of?
It's got to be Thug, man.
Go ahead, move over so we can see the Thug plaque. I know it's right by the Thug plaque is like right behind you, right?
Yeah.
That shit hard, man. Congratulations, that's amazing.
Platinum on the air.
Oh, he's got another plaque. Oh shit.
That's the official one, you know. But yeah, that was a crazy moment, bro. Like, Thug's probably one of my favorite artists in the world, you know. So that was wild.
Right. I didn't get to ask you about that. So when did So Much Fun come out? Before the pandemic or during it? I don't even remember. Everything kind of is blurred now.
Yeah, 2019. So it was before the pandemic.
Oh, it did come out before the pandemic, correct? Okay, so with that one, I'm assuming you got to maybe work a little closer with him on that one.
A little bit. I was working with Mustard's team, Mustard's camp.
Shout out to Mustard.
Yeah, shout out to Mustard, man, legend. But that's how that came about. You know?
That's amazing. You know, so okay, so we got all these plaques. We got the new album on the way. We got the new singles on the way. Is there anything else you could talk about that we might have on the way?
I mean, my second single's loading. You know, just know and expect something big for real. Other than that, you know, I've been sending some stuff. You know, Big Sean. Salute to, you know, a lot of different things on the way. You know what I mean? So I don't know what I can talk about, what I can't, but just expect a lot. For real.
Now, you mentioned that you worked with Mustard Camp. I gotta ask you this. You know, as a producer who is entering the space of creating your own music, creating your own projects, you know, to the same extent of like the Mustards of the world or the DJ Khaled's of the world, et cetera, et cetera. Have you gotten any advice from like the likes of Mustard or anyone who's in that space on like how to approach these projects?
You mean just like production wise or just like?
Well, yeah, like production wise, again, the artist on like that type of situation. Have you gotten to speak to like the likes of Mustard or anybody in that space who's also kind of done these type of things?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, the advice I really get is mostly just like, you know, don't rush it. You know, take your time to craft the right records. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like every drop matters. I feel like everything I put out now has to be like on point. So, I'm just taking my time with it, man.
Right. Well, you know what? This is all very exciting. Obviously, run single out now. Lil Wayne, Taleban, Dooda. Let the people know. First of all, I appreciate you for being here with me today. This was great. I love when I get to sit down with producers versus the artists, because I like getting a little bit of the behind the scenes, and especially with someone like yourself who's working on these records. Thank you again for being here.
No, thank you, man. Appreciate you having me.
Of course. So before you go, let the people know where they can follow you at. Any last message you got for them? Now is the time to go ahead and drop that in there.
Yes, sir. At Pitt Tha Kid everywhere. PITTTHAKID. And everyone who's grinding. When I was coming up, I didn't always have a lot of opportunities and people reaching out to me. So I just want to put my email out for anyone that's striving,
love that,
trying to make it. It's collab with Pitt, COLLAB with PITT@gmail.com. And if you're an artist, beat maker, producer, whatever, send me stuff. I'm listening to everything. You already know.
That's amazing. Make sure y'all go email him. Send him some shit, some beats. I don't know. Send him some vocals. We'll see what's up.
Anything, man. Send it over.
Yo, like I said, appreciate you, bro. Everybody, make sure you go check out the debut single, Run Again. Well, I mean, again, Run. Lil Wayne, Taleban, Dooda, amazing record. Make sure you get ready, because that debut project is on the way. More singles on the way. Whole lot of more heat on the way. And until next time, my guy, Pitt Tha Kid on the radar.
God, love, bro. Appreciate you.